two, one, two, one, two. We got sound. We got sound. Let me pause this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our third installment of the day. We had to divide everything in little bits and pieces, but that's okay because we're going to continue until we finish today's finals, okay? So, where were we? We were discussing business, reflecting on today. This is part of the day to day of our company, and we made it all the way to Mr. Jim Rohn. So let's see what Jim Rohn has in store for us. Remember, Jim Rohn, we basically paired him with Galactus. Let me see if I can show you this, guys, because even for my students that are creating content, this is how the West was won. So, Jim Rohn, okay, I'm going to be describing every attribute of every one of my mentors. And when I say underscore, I mean the text below the graphics of either the NFT of the person or the NFT of the character. So I'm going to go into what I wrote mostly because in some segments, you're going to have to go on LinkedIn to read the full details. Like if you look into the full details of the Marvel character, let's say Galactus. Give me 1 second. So again, very, very excited about the meetings that I've had for today. Jim Rohn. Mr. Rohn inspired all of these universes of thought. He reigns supreme. So I have a picture of Jim Rohn here with his business suit and tie. Then I have this beautiful NFT. Um, yeah, and you can't see it, but it's like purple and blue. It's very nice. And it shows Galactus. He planted seeds of growth in each one of us. And he can also do that for you. There are countless books and seminars online for free. No one can drive a point home like Jim. He is so savvy. I learned to always add love and humor to all of my lectures. My students ask where I obtained my education style and even the way I formulate my speech. Well, this is my mentor. I felt in my heart that he was serious about my success. He was committed to help normal people just like me. If I ever lost track, this is how I would get back on the money train. Whenever I had to revisit these talks, I knew I had to straighten up. It was pure discipline. Emmanuel James Rohn, born September 17th, 1930, 1 month before my birthday. And my birthday is October 17th. I have the same birthday as Eminem and Wyclef Jean, two music giants. And we'll get more into why that date is important. December 5th, 2009. Professionally known as Jim Rohn, he was an American entrepreneur, author, and motivational speaker. Early life. Emmanuel James Jim Rohn was born in Yakima, Washington, to Emmanuel and Clara Rohn. The Rohns owned and worked a farm in Caldwell, Idaho, where Jim grew up as an only child. He was born to a poor family, became a millionaire at age 30, and went broke when he was 33. later became a millionaire again. Rohn left college after 1 year. Career. He started his professional life as a human resource manager for Sears. Around this time, a friend invited him to a lecture given by entrepreneur John Earl Schoaf. In 1955, Rowan joined Schoaf's direct selling business, Abundavita, as a distributor. In 1957, Rowan resigned his distributorship with Abundavita and joined NutriBio, another direct selling company. The company's founders, including Schoaf, started to mentor him. After this mentorship, Rohn built one of the largest organizations in the company. In 1960, when NutriBio expanded into Canada, Schoaf and the other founders put Rohn in charge of the organization. After NutriBio went out of business in the early 1960s, Rohn was inspired and invited to speak at his Rotary Club. He accepted, and soon others began asking him to speak at various luncheons and other events. In 1963, at the Beverly Hills Hotel, he gave his first public seminar. He then began presenting seminars across the country, telling his story and teaching his personal development philosophy. Throughout the 1970s, Rohn conducted seminars for Standard Oil. At the same time, he participated in a personal development business called Adventures in Achievement, which featured live seminars and personal development workshops. He presented seminars worldwide for more than 40 years. Rohn mentored Mark R. Hughes, the founder of Herbalife International, and life strategist Tony Robbins in the late 1970s. Others who credit Rohn for influencing their careers include authors, lecturers, Mark Victor Hansen and Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup book series, Everton Edwards, Hallmark Innovators Conglomerate, Brian Tracy, Todd Smith, and T. Harv Eker. Rohn co authored the novel 12 Pillars with Chris Widener. Rohn was the recipient of the 1985 National Speakers Association CPAE Award for Excellence in Speaking. He is the author of 17 written audio and video media, including The Power of Ambition, Take Charge of Your Life, and The Day That Turns Your Life Around. Many of his speeches are available for free on social media platforms like YouTube and Instagram. I downloaded the audio to his live speeches, and during my workday, this is all I would listen to. This is me writing. I picked several lessons and listened to them on repeat. Two are my favorite. One is 4 hours, the second is two. Almost a 6 hour shift of mental work. While at work, multitasking. This is when I was building my company. This is one college class and credit at the doctorate level, 2 to 3 credits per day in a university in a single day by myself. Galactus. Galactus is a fictional character appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. Formerly a mortal man, he is a cosmic entity who consumes planets to sustain his life force and serves a functional role in the upkeep of the primary Marvel continuity. He was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and first appeared in Fantastic Four number 48, March of 1966. Lee and Kirby wanted to introduce a character that broke away from the archetype of the standard villain. In the character's first appearance, Galactus was depicted as a godlike figure who fed by draining living planets of their energy and operated without regard to the morality or judgments of mortal beings. And again, I had a video, hashtag one man team. And this is my quote: I can do anything. I just have to put my mind to it, apply myself, and believe. I never had anyone but these books and my newfound mentors. I have superpowers. I am invincible. As long as I follow the rules by winning first the war within. Hashtag one man team. Now we move on to Tony Robbins, which is how I found Jim Rohn. This is how I learned about Jim Rohn. It was through Anthony Robbins. Here's a picture of Anthony Robbins. And who do I have him as a Marvel character? Wolverine from the X-Men. Underscore. Tony became my best friend. He was animated enough to reach my subconscious mind. I learned to trust him and have faith in the process. Then you have the NFT avatar of the X-Men with Wolverine and Gambit. Underscore. At the time or at the actual moment of discovery, some things may not make sense. But if I at least give things a try, my complete perspective can change. Tony also came from poverty. I could relate to the deepest degree. He shared a story about his life that he didn't have to. He spoke about charity in a now famous talk about Thanksgiving. He opened up about how his father's limiting beliefs would forever change the course of his life. That speech aside, he said life would pay the price you ask, quote unquote. From that day forth, I asked for the highest price. My self worth value increased as I started to believe in myself. Anthony J. Robbins, Mahavik, born the 29th of February 1960, is an American author, coach, speaker, and philanthropist. He is known for his infomercials, seminars, and self help books, including the books Unlimited Power and Awaken the Giant Within. Early life. Robbins was born Anthony J. Mahavik in North Hollywood, California, on February 29, 1960. The eldest of the three children, his parents divorced when he was 7. He is of Croatian descent from both sides of his family. His mother remarried several times, including a marriage with Jim Robbins, a former semi professional baseball player who legally adopted Anthony when he was 12. Robbins attended Glendora High School. During high school, he grew 10 inches, 25 centimeters in 1 inch in 1 year, a growth spurt later attributed to a pituitary tumor. He has said his home life was chaotic and abusive. When he was 17, he left home and never returned. He later worked as a janitor and did not attend college. One day, he asked his landlord, a family friend, how he became so successful. And the landlord told him that he started to turn his life around after attending a Jim Rohn seminar. Thank you, Mr. Jim Rohn, for changing my life, and Anthony Robbins too. All of my mentors, but Mr. Jim has a special place, you know? No more self doubt or internal disbelief. I could learn to teach myself. My learning limitations can be overcome. I just have to apply myself. I could work on myself daily. Each passing day, my commitment to educating myself grew. I found the cassettes for Unlimited Power after I picked up the book used. I would go to the thrift stores and estate sales, garage sales, and I would look for books. That's all I could afford. Wolverine, birth name James Howlett, alias Logan, and Weapon X, is a character appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics, mostly in association with the X-Men. He is a mutant with animal keen senses, enhanced physical capabilities, a powerful regenerative ability known as a healing factor, and three retractable claws in each hand. Wolverine has been depicted as a member of the X-Men, X-Force, Alpha Flight, the Fantastic Four, and the Avengers. The character first appeared in the last panel of The Incredible Hulk number 180, before having a larger role in number 181, cover dated November 1974. This is 6 years before I was born. He was created by Marvel editor in chief Roy Thomas, writer Len Wein, and Marvel art director John Romita Sr. Romita designed the character's costume, but the character was first drawn for publication by Herb Trimpe. Wolverine then joined a revamped version of the superhero team, the X-Men, where eventually writer Chris Claremont, artist Dave Cockrum, and artist writer John Byrne would play significant roles in the character's development. Artist Frank Miller collaborated with Claremont and helped revise the character with a four-part eponymous limited series from September to December of 1982. So the year that I was born is when he finally got his first break. You know, this is very fast for a comic book character. Um, Give me one quick second. This debuted Wolverine's catchphrase, "I'm the best there is at what I do, but what I do best isn't very nice." Let's continue. Again, I have an NFT clipping for Unlimited Power from YouTube. You guys can find it on YouTube. This leads us to Mr. Warren Buffett. And you're not going to believe who I uh, who I paired him with. Warren Buffett to me is Cyclops, value based investor. Look at the resemblance. Like, tell me that's not Warren Buffett. Hold on. All right, let's read about this. Underscore. I found inspiration everywhere I looked. Mr. Buffett was so laser focused and taught me long term business planning. I had a newfound inclination on the next 35 to 45 years ahead of me. Amazing. Now the Cyclops NFT. I could be like all of my mentors. What is inside of them is equally now a part of me. They all formed my foundation. This is my blueprint. And you see how he has the blue suit, right? As a small business owner and entrepreneur, I cultivated my visions of the future. I saw small businesses as franchise opportunities. I looked deeper, further, and beyond what my eyes could see. I learned to value my own imagination. Thinking back, I remember being the kid everyone wanted to befriend and play with. My imagination ran wild, and I could make the best special effects with sound effects. I was artistic and creative from the start. I could tap back into those days where time did not exist and I had no worries in the world. Warren Edward Buffett, born August 30th, 1930, is an American business magnate, investor, and philanthropist. He is currently the chairman and CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. He is one of the best known fundamental investors in the world as a result of his immense investment success, possessing a net worth of $117 billion as of June 2023, making him the fifth richest person in the world. Buffett was born in Omaha, Nebraska, the son of a congressman and businessman, Howard Buffett. He developed an interest in business and investing during his youth, eventually entering the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania in 1947 before transferring to and graduating from the University of Nebraska at 19. He went on to graduate from Columbia Business School, where he molded his investment philosophy around the concept of value investing, pioneered by Benjamin Graham. He attended New York's Institute of Finance to focus on his economics background and soon after began various investment business partnerships, including one with Graham. He created Buffett Partnership Limited in 1956, and his investment firm eventually acquired a textile manufacturing firm called Berkshire Hathaway, assuming its name to create a diversified holdings company, and later as the company's chairman and major shareholder in 1970. In 1978, Charlie Munger joined Buffett as vice chairman. Since 1970, Buffett has presided as the chairman and largest shareholder of Berkshire Hathaway, one of America's foremost holding companies and world's leading corporate conglomerates. He has been referred to as the Oracle or Sage of Omaha, by global media as a result of having accumulated a massive fortune derived from his business and investment success. He is noted for his adherence to the principles of value investing and his personal frugality despite his vast wealth. Buffett is also a noted philanthropist, having pledged to give away 99% of his fortune to philanthropic causes, primarily via the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. He founded the Giving Pledge in 2010 with Bill Gates, whereby billionaires pledged to give away at least half of their fortunes. Every day while at work, at my day job as a barber, I simultaneously taught myself. Soon, I started to teach business to all of my business partners. All of our small businesses gained from all of this newfound knowledge. I started to apply what I learned as I was learning it. Nothing was too big or too small. All topics from communication to project management, how to set financial goals, and most importantly, how to embrace the unique diversities of our staff and our clients. It was truly amazing to share with others the little I learned along the way to success. Cyclops. Scott Summers is a fictional character, a superhero appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics, and is a founding member of the X Men. Created by writer Stan Lee and artist co plotter Jack Kirby, the character first appeared in the comic book The X Men. Cyclops is a member of a subspecies of humans known as mutants, who are born with superhuman abilities. Cyclops emits powerful beams of energy from his eyes and can only control the beams with the aid of special eyewear, which he must wear at all times. He is typically considered the first of the X Men, a team of mutant heroes who fight for peace and equality between mutants and humans, and one of the team's primary leaders. Cyclops is most often portrayed as the archetypal hero of traditional American popular culture, the opposite of the tough anti authority anti heroes that emerged in American pop culture after the Vietnam War. An example, Wolverine, his X Men teammate. James Marsden initially portrayed Cyclops in the 20th century Fox X Men films, while a younger version of the character was portrayed by Tim Pocock in the 2009 prequel film X Men Origins Wolverine, and he was portrayed by Ty Sheridan in X Men Apocalypse 2016 and Dark Phoenix of 2019, as well as a cameo in Deadpool 2 in 2018. I found happiness in teaching, philanthropy, by overall giving back. The pursuit of happiness took a marvelous turn. I could now improve the quality of life in myself and others. I started to give away copies of these books used to all of my business partners and friends. It only grew the dreams further and beyond myself. I obtained a new treasure, not measured in financial gains, but in pure joy, helping people just like me. Hashtag give away your blessings. In order to keep your blessings, you have to give them away. We're going to take a quick intermission pause. I'm going to navigate to our education area. Give me one quick second so that we can have better lighting. I'll move some of these things around so that we can use everything that God has given us, which is this space. And I'll be right back. I have to grab my digital platform that's portable, and I have to get everything ready. Give me one quick second. Give me one quick second. I have to make sure I secure power because I need to charge and um, make sure I have battery to pretty much run my family, my business enterprises, my portfolio, my investments, my businesses. Um, Half man, half amazing, right? All right, let us continue. So hopefully this is much better. So let us continue. We're going to continue reading, okay? Okay, perfect. See, we give us a little better angle there. There we go. I have some organic coconut water. Need to drink. One second. So here we go. Up next, who do we have? Steve Jobs. That's right. So in my magazine, you can see the NFT here of Steve Jobs. Take a very good look at Steve Jobs. Look who he is. Gambit, El Gambito. By the way, most of these characters in my music catalog, I have complete projects and series dedicated to them. So let us continue. The concept of time was more and more prevalent. Time was the most powerful asset I would ever have. Mr. Jobs kept me on my job all the time, innovating. There's a picture of him with an iPhone, first iPhone. And just like you see his hands, you see Gambit holding the three cards, right? Okay. It's a little bright. It's not going to register well on the screen, but it's okay. Underscore. Some people can see the future. Some people can hold the future in their hands. I quickly became a time traveler as I started to travel through time. I planned each day according to my education. I would educate myself at all times. I wrote my notes and took all of my exams in the morning when my mind was fresh. The rest allowed me to focus on my goals, aspirations, and dreams. Nutrition became equally important. Give me one quick second. Need to make sure I'm not missing any messages. Okay, let's continue. Okay. I wrote my notes and took all of my exams in the morning when my mind was fresh. The rest allowed me to focus on my goals, aspirations, and dreams. Nutrition became equally important. I could listen to a business class, an audiobook, or a podcast as I worked. I would review my studies and test myself every 2 days. If I were to become successful, I'd have to be toughest on myself. I only asked my students what I could do myself. I had to take the lead. My business partners owned the business ventures on paper and had the stock certificates to show proof of ownership, but the business was mine. And not only did I run a tight ship, I ran the business like a Navy destroyer. I had to be the best of the best, day in, day out. Stephen Paul Jobs, born February 24th, 1955 to October 5th, 2011, was an American business magnate, inventor, and investor. He was the co founder, chairman, and CEO of Apple, the chairman and majority shareholder of Pixar, a member of the Walt Disney's Company board of directors following its acquisition of Pixar, and the founder, chairman, and CEO of Next. He was a pioneer of the personal computer revolution of the 1970s and 80s, along with his early business partner and fellow Apple co founder Steve Wozniak. Jobs was born in San Francisco to a Syrian father and German American mother. He was adopted shortly after his birth. Jobs attended Reed College in 1972 before withdrawing that same year, again, 10 years before I was born. In 1974, he traveled through India seeking enlightenment before later studying Zen Buddhism, as I do as well. He and Wozniak co founded Apple in 1956 to sell Wozniak's Apple I personal computer. Together, the duo gained fame and wealth a year later with production and sale of the Apple II, one of the first highly successful mass produced microcomputers. Jobs saw the commercial potential of the Zero Alto in Jobs saw the commercial potential of the Xerox Alto in 1979, which was mouse driven and had a graphical user interface GUI. This led to the development of the unsuccessful Apple Lisa in 1983, 9-year growth cycle, followed by the breakthrough Macintosh in 1984. So he came back a year later, the first mass produced computer with a GUI. The Macintosh introduced the desktop publishing industry in 1985 with the addition of the Apple Laser Writer, the first laser printer to feature vector graphics. In 1985, Jobs was forced out of Apple after a long power struggle with the company's board and its then CEO, John Sculley. That same year, Jobs took a few Apple employees with him to found Next, a computer platform development company that specialized in computers for higher education and business markets. In addition, he helped to develop the visual effects industry when he founded the computer graphics division of George Lucas's film, Lucasfilm, in 1986. The new company was Pixar, which introduced the first 3D computer animated feature film, Toy Story, in 1995. My father actually took me and my brother to see that movie. I remember Free Willy too. Those are big movies I went to go see with my father. One of my brothers, uh, best friends for life, um, knows that movie is very dear to me. And went on to become a major animation studio, producing over 25 films since Toy Story in 1995. In 1997, Jobs returned to Apple as CEO after the company's acquisition of Next. He was largely responsible for reviving Apple, which was on the verge of bankruptcy. He worked closely with British designer Jony Ive to develop a line of products that had larger cultural ramifications, beginning with the Think Different advertisement campaign and leading to the Apple Store, App Store, iOS, iMac, iPad, iPod, iPhone, iTunes, and the iTunes Store. In 2001, the original Mac operating system was replaced with the completely new Mac OS X, later known as Mac O5, based on the Next Step platform, giving the operating system a modern Unix based foundation for the first time. In 2003, Jobs was diagnosed with pancreatic neuroendocrine tumor, a pancreatic neuroendocrine tumor. He died of respiratory arrest related to the tumor in 2011 at the age of 56, with Tim Cook succeeding him as CEO of Apple. In 2022, he was posthumously awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. This is an excerpt from my book. I downloaded one of the greatest business apps ever made. In my marriage to technology, I knew that all these elements would be long term. This app helped me take a failing business to several millions of dollars and continues to generate millions of dollars today. Once I saw the potential and began to understand the power, everything changed. I bought the Galaxy Note 2 from Samsung. It was a game changer. I started with the HTC 4G. It was an iPhone clone, but I quickly learned to code and program it with my own custom kernels. I took over the world with a portable digital platform that fit at the palm of my hands. Gambit, Remy Etienne Lebeau, is a fictional character appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics, commonly in association with the X-Men. The character was created by writer Chris Claremont and artist Jim Lee. Drawn by artist Mike Collins, Gambit made his first appearance in the Uncanny X-Men Annual Number 14, July of 1990. The Uncanny X-Men number 266, so this is 6 months after I came to the United States. Gambit belongs to a subspecies of humans called mutants who are born with superhuman abilities. Gambit has the ability to mentally create, control, and manipulate pure kinetic energy to his desire. He is also incredibly knowledgeable and skilled in card throwing, hand to hand combat, and the use of a bow staff. Gambit is known to charge playing cards and other objects with kinetic energy, using them as explosive projectiles. He was a part of Thieves Guild, before becoming a member of the X-Men. Given his history, few X-Men trusted Gambit when he first joined the group. There was consistently a source of stress between him and his on again, off again love interest and eventual wife, Rogue. This was exacerbated when Gambit's connections to villain Mr. Sinister were revealed. Although some of his team members accept that Gambit's honesty seeks redemption, often portrayed as a ladies' man, Gambit has shown a more vulnerable side of himself over the years, especially when it comes to Rogue. Gambit remains fiercely proud of his Louisiana heritage and speaks in a Cajun accent. Since his debut, Gambit has appeared in several solo series as of 2013. There have been three attempts at an ongoing title starring the character. Gambit has also had two miniseries and starred prominently in Gambit and The Externals, the X Force replacement title during the Age of Apocalypse. He has been featured in several animated series and video games based on the X Men. Gambit made his live action debut in the 2009 film X Men Origins Wolverine, portrayed by Taylor Kitsch. Now, let me just say this his background, how he grew up. You guys know I grew up in the streets, and, my beginnings were not the best. So I could relate to him all the way. I'm a ladies' man, so naturally, God gave me daughters, right? I am a girl dad. I was raised by women. I have a lot of very deep respect for women. And again, I thank God for my beautiful wife every day. Okay. Since his debut, Gambit has appeared in several solo series as of 2013. There have been three attempts at an ongoing title starring the character. Gambit has also had two miniseries and starred prominently in Gambit and the Externals, the X Force replacement title during the Age of Apocalypse. He has been featured in several animated series and video games based on the X Men. Gambit made his live action debut in the 2009 film X Men Origins Wolverine, portrayed by Taylor Kitsch. Taylor Kitsch. Okay. I had customized everything from more memory to a more robust battery pack to video games, music. It was crazy, Tony. I put a version of Windows on it and an iOS clone. I had no clue what I was doing, but soon I became the owner of a MacBook Pro. This elevated my music production as well as my entertainment capacities. It helped me for school and did wonders for the business. Hashtag iApple. I posted an NFT of the video clip from Steve Jobs' commencement speech in Stanford for 2005. You guys should watch it. It's amazing. Now, who do we have in our profile spotlight? None other than my financial mentor, Thomas J. Stanley, author of the book The Millionaire Next Door and Millionaire Mind. And who is he to me? He is like Spider Man. So let's read all about it. With newfound success came newfound riches. Mr. Stanley taught me day to day business economics. This became Wealth Management 101 under the Spider Man NFT. Here we go. Financial literacy added to my business budget versatility. I could apply these business principles of accounting and management daily to improve my personal life and the business. I had already been an avid alumni of the Anthony Hamilton University through books. Shout out to Miss Arlen Hamilton. I found an immense advantage in learning all old world, classic, and traditional business techniques. I found these same key concepts applied beyond theory by Mr. Stanley. I did the same by applying all that I learned daily as I learned it. Then naturally, I began to teach these concepts to all of my business partners in real time. Thomas J. Stanley, 1944, February 28, 2015, was an American writer and business theorist. He was the author and co author of several award winning books on America's wealthy, including the New York Times bestsellers, The Millionaire Next Door and The Millionaire Mind. He served as a chief advisor to Data Points, a company founded based on his research and data. He received a doctorate in business administration from the University of Georgia. He was on the faculty of the university at Albany State University of New York. He taught marketing at the University of Tennessee, University of Georgia, and Georgia State University, where he was named Omicron Delta Kappa's outstanding professor. Notice how Warren Buffett, a lot of my heroes, California, New York, right? And Gambit is also from Louisiana. A lot of my family, I'm one of the original brothers. If you've ever had our chicken, building out a company, I built in 19, still got it. I own 44 kosher chicken recipes today, 44 kosher and coke. For those that want to franchise, or Infinity Republic if you want to franchise on hair care. But let's continue. And I'm starting a new one for my son. All right, here we go. Thomas Stanley was born in the Bronx, where I'm from, during 1944, where his father drove a subway car and his mother was a homemaker and secretary. He attended college in Connecticut, doing graduate work at the University of Tennessee. He earned a doctorate at the University of Georgia and eventually moved to the Atlanta area to teach at Georgia State University. Stanley spent most of his career studying how the financially successful Americans in a wide range of professions and with a varying level of income acquired their wealth on their own. In 2015, he was killed by a drunk driver at the age of 71. During his last days, he was working on a book with his daughter, an industrial psychologist, who later finished it. The book is called The Next Millionaire Next Door: Enduring Strategies for Building Wealth, and attributes authorship to Thomas J. Stanley and his daughter, Sarah Stanley Falau. Excerpts from my book. I combined everything with both psychology and my excellent people skills. Morpheus, I know you with me. Thank you so much for that. Customer service became a core study of mine. I was always very political about everyone being able to voice their opinion. I made myself readily available to all of my staff. If anything was a concern, regardless of a business meeting, product, service, or procedure, or something in their personal lives, anyone could come to me in my office. Spider Man, one of my son's favorite superheroes, my nephews as well, myself as well, and all of my friends. One of my brothers, Jesus, we were big time Spider Man fans, but he really fell in love with the character Deadpool. And I remember when he introduced Deadpool to me, we collected comic books and cards and stuff like that. And he was like, he's like Spider Man, but with swords. That was the funniest shit in the fucking world. I remember it like it was yesterday. Part of my frances. Spider Man is a superhero appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics, created by writer editor Stan Lee and artist Steve Ditko. He first appeared in the anthology comic book Amazing Fantasy number 15, August of 1962, in the Silver Age of comic books. He has been featured in comic books, television shows, films, video games, novels, and plays. Spider Man's secret identity is Peter Parker, a teenage high school student and an orphan raised by his Aunt May and Uncle Ben in New York City after his parents, Richard and Mary Parker, died in a plane crash. Leon Ditko had the character deal with the struggles of adolescence and financial issues and gave him many supporting characters, such as Flash Thompson, J. Jonah Jameson, and Harry Osborn. Romantic interest: Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane Watson, and the Black Cat. And his enemies, such as the Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, and Venom, which is my artist name. It comes from the helmet with the graphics, and R1 from the motorcycle. I had crashed a Ducati before that. In his origin story, Spider Man gets his superhuman spider powers and abilities after being bitten by a radioactive spider. These include superhuman strength, speed, agility, jump, reflexes, stamina, durability, coordination, and balance, clinging to surfaces and ceilings like a spider, and detecting danger with his precognition ability called Spider Sense. He also builds wrist mounted web shooter devices that shoot artificial spider webs of his own design that are used for fighting his enemies and web swinging across the city. Peter Parker originally used his powers for his personal gain, but after his uncle Ben was killed by a thief that Peter did not stop, Peter began to use his spider powers to fight crime by becoming the superhero known as Spider Man. I can totally relate. You guys know I design engineer wearable technology just like Peter Parker. He's the underdog just like me. He's from the Bronx, he's from New York, all that good stuff. When Spider Man first appeared in the early 1960s, teenagers in superhero comic books were usually relegated to the role of sidekick to the protagonist. The Spider Man comic series broke ground by featuring Peter Parker, a high school student from Queens, New York, as Spider Man's secret identity, whose self obsessions with rejection, inadequacy, and loneliness were issues to which young readers could relate, myself included. While Spider Man had all the makings of a sidekick, unlike previous teen heroes such as Bucky and Robin, Spider Man had no superhero mentor like Captain America and Batman. He had learned the lesson for himself that with great power comes great responsibility. A line included in a text box in the final panel of the first Spider Man's origin story, but later retroactively attributed to his guardian, his late uncle Ben Parker. Marvel has featured Spider Man in several comic book series, the first and longest lasting of which is The Amazing Spider Man. Over the years, the Peter Parker character developed from a shy, nerdy New York City high school student to a troubled but outgoing college student to a married high school teacher to, in the late 2000s, a single freelance photographer. In the 2000s, he joins the Avengers. Dr. Octopus also took on the identity for a story arc spanning from 2012 to 2014, followed following a body swap plot in which Peter appears to die. Marvel has also published comic books featuring alternate versions of Spider-Man, including Spider-Man 2099. That's I was a huge fan to this day, which features the adventures of Miguel O'Hara, the Spider-Man of the future, Ultimate Spider-Man, which features the adventures of a teenage Peter Parker in the alternate universe, and then Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, which depicts the teenager named Miles Morales, who takes up the mantle of Spider Man after Ultimate Peter Parker's apparent death. Miles later became a superhero in his own right and was brought into mainstream continuity where he sometimes works alongside Peter. I could relate. Come on, he's from the Bronx. They made him, Puerto Rican, Dominican, and black. Like, that's me right there. Spider Man is one of the most popular and commercially successful superheroes. He has appeared in countless forms of media, including several animated TV series, including the first original animated Spider Man with Paul Soles voicing Spider Man, a live action television series, syndicated newspaper comic strips, and multiple series of films. All right, let me check my messages. Okay, I have to make a quick phone call. Take a little break.